Chad here with Earthworks. Today, we're just wanting to go over a few things, kind of a 50,000 foot view of our turf fertilization, disease, and pest control program. So we'll just go over kind of the basics of it, just to give you an idea of what's included with that service. So with the turf, it is an 8 times treatment program. So that comes down to 8 rounds throughout the year, roughly every 6 weeks or so. That can flex a little bit depending on the speed of the previous round, what we're seeing, if there's a need to speed up or slow down. But for the most part, we'll average about 1 round, every 6 weeks or so. Each round we'll be targeting something different, and it just depends on what is attacking or what is needed at that time of the year. So for example, round 1, typically time frame is January to about mid-February. We'll be doing a pre-emergent, turf nutrition, and weeds. Obviously the turf nutrition, we're doing, some nitrogens, mainly minors and other things to feed the turf. Weeds, we're just targeting weeds. The pre-emergent is being put down simply to stop the weed seeds that are in the seed bank from ever germinating. Anything that does pop up, that's what you get it with these post-emergent herbicides for the weeds. Round 2, you're around the middle of February through March. We're doing minors. We're targeting chinch bugs. That's when they start to about show up. NPK, meaning nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That's kind of your well-rounded, your what's called majors in fertilization. Minors are everything else: iron, magnesium, manganese, that sort of thing. We're also doing soil conditioning, which just helps with the bioavailability of the things that we're putting in there so that it, ultimately the plant can use those things. And then again, targeting weeds. You'll see weeds that we're targeting is a pretty common thread. Florida is very unforgiving when it comes to weeds, so it's kind of a constant fight. Round 3, we're going from about April through mid-May. We're going to do a complete granular, so a very well-rounded granular. Again, targeting weeds and then also chinch bugs. Round 4, we're doing another pre-em. So the first one, you're getting all of the seeds that will be taking off in the beginning of that year. Most pre-emergents, you're lasting 6 months or a little bit longer than 6 months, but we'll put those down at about every 6 months so that you get some overlap in the pre-emergence. Again, the goal would be to stop weeds from ever germinating. If we can get 80 to 90% control of that, then anything that we need to control, we do with the post-emergence. So the pre-emergent, minors, again, soil conditioning, and chinch and weeds. The soil conditioning is just super important. If we can do a better job of creating happy soil, then it makes everything else much easier, and we can use less of synthetic fertilizers and that sort of thing. Round 5, July through August, we are putting down something to combat drought, helps with moisture retention. Minors, NPK, soil conditioning, and then we're still following up with some pre-em, and then weeds. Round 6, again, NPK, minors, sod webworm. That's the new pest that would be kind of taking off around that time of year. So chinch is early in the year. The major pest, the other pest that we target is sod webworm. They're also a big one here in North Florida. Soil conditioning, weeds. Round 7, again, soil conditioning, minors, NPK, weeds. Now fungus. Once you start getting those cooler nights, fungus really takes off, and so we make sure we take care of that as well. Round 8, we're not doing much in the way of nitrogen. We're not trying to push growth or anything like that. A lot of the things that push growth, nitrogen for example, feeds fungus. So you don't want to put a lot in the way of fungus. A lot in the way of nitrogen that is simply going to feed that fungus and just make it explode even more. And then we're also then targeting minors, and again, we're still targeting fungus. With those cooler nights, it's still going to be an issue. So this is a general outline of our program, but no 2 years in Florida are created the same. We're always having to call an audible depending on what we're seeing. So in a perfect year where everything happens the way it's supposed to, this is what we follow. However, last year, for example, all of the storms that we had a bunch of rain, So that brings in the sod webworms. They come in on those storms. So what happens is we get all those storms early in the year. We were doing a lot of our round 6 treatments for the sod webworms around rounds 2 and 3. So we were actually having both pests at the same time, chinch and sod webworm. So it can always vary. And again, if there's another year where the drought really kicks off, drought brings in chinch. You typically will not get chinch if everything is well irrigated. But if you hit a dry spell, anywhere things get dry, chinch takes off. So we hit a drought here. Now round 2 is up here by round 6. We get a bunch of rain, round 6 is back here with round 2. So we're always having to adjust on the fly based on, what Florida decides to give us for the year. But this will give you kind of a decent outline of what's in there. The other thing that we try to do, or we do here at Earthworks, is we don't have one master person that is mixing up all trucks, all chemicals, and just sending guys out to simply applicate. So we don't have applicators, we have spray technicians. So those technicians, they are mixing up their trucks on their own. They are adjusting on the fly for what needs to be done, because they can treat Miss Smith's yard one way, but then right next to that yard, or the next yard that they do, there could be other variables, other problems that person is experiencing that Miss Smith wasn't. So they adjust on the fly. We do a tailored approach. It's not a cookie cutter, because not all yards, are suffering from the same thing with the same problem. So we will adjust those things, as needed to make sure that it's a tailored approach for whatever problem the customer faces. And again, this is just a 50,000 foot view of our fertilization program. And my name is Chad Lakin. I'm the head of operations for our lawn maintenance and fertilization side. If you would like to go with our service, we would love the chance, to win your business and provide service for you. You can either click on our website to get a free instant quote. You can give us a call at 904-996-0712, and we would love to, reach out and give you an estimate as well. We look forward to speaking with you.